So I'm recording now. You can see the topics that we're going to talk about here: quality client service, the help desk, or sometimes it's referred to as a service desk. That's kind of a key sort of central part of this course. The idea being is how would you give good customer service if you were working in a help desk situation? Um, Communication. When we talk about communication, we'll be talking about verbal, that means speaking to people, written communication, and also a little bit on nonverbal communication. Handling difficult clients, that's always a good one. So the guy that comes in and shouts at you, um, maybe even more than that. How do we sort of turn that around in a way that works for everybody? Working as a team, important in any work, but also in the service desk. Stress and burnout, because uh, dealing with people can be stressful, and if that's a negative experience, you know what I mean. If you had 10 angry customers come um, in the same day, you might you would be under a bit of stress. And if that happened every day for like 30 days, you might burn out. And burnout is a sort of a technical term. I mean, I know it just sounds like an idiom, but it is a technical term. Burnout refers to the point where an employee gets to the point where they're no longer productive at work. I mean, it's actually better for them to just stay home, because they're not able to sort of contribute in their time. That's burnout. Um, Help desk technology. We'll see some of that. We're going to use a um, a service desk tool. There's many of them, so maybe we'll survey that a little so you can see a few of them. And then lastly, we're going to talk about service level agreements, which is kind of like a contract that people in a service desk enter into with whoever are their customers. So that's the course in a nutshell. The outline, these are links. So if you click on them, it should take you to a place in the content of the course, and you can download those and keep those copies for yourself. These course outlines are updated regularly, and so we've got the latest one here, which is September 2019 was approved. Now, it is different than the previous semesters, and so that's why we had, and I hope I didn't go through that too fast, but that's why we had to use a new one. Well, I mean, it has been changed here in the evaluation, or in other words, in the marks that you have that go toward what grade you will get. Now, it was considered in previous semesters that it was so important that students actually attend class, because that's part of this course could be sort of looked at as also part of how to be a good employee. And so, since this is a technical college, we're not here to sort of look at our navels. We're here to get ready to work. And so, part of getting ready to work is showing up. And so, we are giving marks for showing up. But that has been sort of tweaked a bit, and so those marks are now applied differently. Now, the other thing that's changed a bit is the final exam. If you look at the evaluation there, you don't see the word final exam, and that's because there isn't any. So in previous semesters, there had been. That was a lot of fun because we got a nice little database of questions and stuff that we used to ask students, and that was a fun thing. Actually, the final exam, the marks were usually lower than in the. It was kind of tricky. So that's not happening anymore. There's no more final exam. Instead, there'll be a final project. So you can see there that we're taking away the 3 hour stressful um, uh, evaluation where you have to write something on paper and it's worth 30% of your mark. It's not like that. There's going to be a final applied project, and you'll probably have a couple weeks to work on it. Practical quizzes and assignments. So we have this software that we work on, which is OTRS, and we'll look at some others as well. But that's where we're going to get some practical assignments, applied assignments. Other applied assignments will be just asking you to evaluate a difficult or an a challenging situation that a customer service person might come across, and to look at the different things, parts of that, and how would they would best be addressed so that a good result would come. And there will be tests, quizzes. We call them quizzes. So we do have a database which more or less follows the course outline. Now, what else should I think we've got the textbook is mentioned here. Yeah, let's see. Yes, there is a textbook, NAP. So this NAP is a pretty good writer. Can you see that? Yeah. So probably looks backwards. Yeah, it does, right? So the textbook is this one, a guide to customer service skills, guide to customer service skills for the help desk professional. I've got the third edition. There is a fourth edition. The fourth edition is not much different than the third edition, a little bit. So either the third or fourth edition would be helpful. Warning to you, it is kind of expensive, but the resources in there, a lot of them are found on the internet as well. But certainly, if you are a sponsored student, that is, that if you have a sponsor who's paying your tuition and maybe your books, get down to the bookstore and get one of them because they still have a lot of them in. And I use it. A lot of the quiz questions come from the book, and the the yes, the PowerPoint slides that I give you, those are based on the book as well. So basically, we got a bunch of PowerPoint slides that we've enhanced a bit, but they came from that book, and we have a test bank that comes from that book. So that, and it's a good book. I mean, I've gone through that book and basically read it all and used most of the questions, and it's a pretty good little book. And the writing is not hard to read. So I do recommend it. And at the end of every chapter, it's got lots of questions and stuff. Yeah, so and we use those questions in our assessment. So hey, if that's not a heads up, I don't know what is. So there you go. I do recommend that. Um, what else to say about this course? It's a fun course. I think the course could what you take away from the course, there's a lot of things that you could do in outside reading to make this course more useful to you. So, I mean, anything which has to deal with sort of interpersonal stuff could really be brought to bear on this course. So, I mean, psychology, philosophy, all of those things sort of apply. And yeah, so there's a lot of sort of, yeah, and you'll notice that anybody who's read any psychology or philosophy will look at this course and say, "Oh yeah, I recognize that. Oh, I recognize that. That could be useful to me." And so, in a way, that's kind of a pleasing thing about this course is that it kind of stresses the sort of classical things that we used to spend a lot of time learning before we went all sort of technical. So I think that there's a lot. Having said that, it really is a superficial. I mean, just we're really just skimming the surface. We could spend a lot more time on this. We've only got 4 students here, but thank you for coming, you 4 students. Now, about about the so out of a class of 8, so we've only got 8 students. So that's kind of like so. Back to the home. I put a couple of videos up there. As I said, if you like to get to know your teacher, you're always welcome to come and visit me in my office. But just to let you know a little bit about who I am, there's a video there. The other thing is if you follow this little link here, and hopefully you can see that. If you follow that link there, chapter 1 with sound, then what I'm doing there is I'm actually going through the first chapter of and I'm just like I'm talking to you now. I'm talking on that PowerPoint, and so that's a good starting point, and so I recommend that you sort of go through that. Now, the benefit of using PowerPoint with sound attached to it is you can go through it as fast as you like. If you look at a slide and you want to hear my explanation of the slide, which is I hope that you'll find that my explanation of the slide is not me reading the words from the slide, because why would I do that? I mean, the words on the slide, you can read them. But what I'm trying to do there is give you some other perspective on it, from my own sort of experience. And so when you get to a slide, you'll see the corner there. If you want to hear what I got to say, and if you think that might be helpful, you can stop and listen. And if you think, oh yeah, I know all that stuff, you can just click on to the next slide. And so that's the benefit. Or if you're looking at it, or maybe you go through it once and you listen to everything I say there, and then you want to go through it again and just remind yourself, or you can go through quickly. So that's the benefit. Oh, and the other thing with PowerPoints is that you don't have to start at the start and go to the end. So you could sort of just you could see all of the you could see all of the I mean, perhaps I should open it up and show you what I mean. But you could see all of the download it. And it takes a lot of space because the video that's in it, to look at that, it's going to take minutes to download. Sorry, but the thing is with PowerPoint, you can see all the slides are lined up one after another, and you can just go to the slide that you. Oh, this is going to take too long. Yeah, look, it's going to take. Oh, well, it says a minute, another minute. So yeah, so that's I think how you have to look at that is you're going to have to download these and sort of look at them in your own time. I could go through it all, but really I wouldn't add anything now that isn't already in that presentation because it is a presentation of me talking over these slides. I could sort of just summarize it for you, I suppose. And so if I wanted to summarize those with you, here are the slides basically. This is what we're going to be talking about. This is what I mean. In the PowerPoint presentation, when it finally downloads, you'll see in the corner here, it'll have a picture and in a video, and in that video, it'll be me talking. And so, but the thing is, you don't have to. You could just say, oh, you could stay here in the side here and say, oh, I want to see that, and then you could open it up, and you can stop it at any time, and things like that. It is kind of slow though, isn't it? PowerPoint, yeah, it takes, yeah. So, yeah. So yeah, so the first topic there is about what is a help desk and what are the skills that you need to have to work on the help desk. And so in summary of that, as I said, I'm not going to go through this all now because you've got the slide there with me talking to you about it. So I'm asking you to just do that in your own time. But I'll just summarize it here. The help desk, now referred to as the service desk. It's now referred to as a service desk because we've got this thing called ITIL. And ITIL is mentioned in the notes here, along with this thing called ITSM, Information Technology Service Management. So ITIL is a way of doing information technology service management. And so, yeah, here's the slide on ITIL. But the thing about ITIL is it has a lot of definitions and it uses words in very specific ways. And so in the old days, we used to talk about a help desk, and some people still do. But if you were adopting ITIL, then you use the ITIL technology, the ITIL vocabulary. And the ITIL vocabulary now refers it to as at a service desk. And so rather than a help desk, and ITIL, which is basically a bunch of standards, kind of engineering checkbox type thing, way of looking at how do we get the best way of doing our customer service in an IT um, context. And so that's perfect for this course, isn't it? I mean, this course is about how do we do customer service in IT. And so ITIL addresses that with a bunch of, well, it's got 26 sort of protocols that you can use in ITIL and they're all voluntary, right? You can you can do some of them and not do others. So one of the protocols that you would have is that you have some information, that you have a help desk software. Well, we actually call it incident tracking. So you have some way of doing incident tracking. That's one of the 26 protocols in ITIL, and then there are many others. You have change management, you have program management. These things are all mentioned in a well. If you go to any um, document that is regarding ITIL, you'll find all of these things fully described. So here's some of the words that are specific to ITIL besides service desk. We have incident, problem, service request. You're probably thinking, well, incident, I know what an incident is, and problem, I know what a problem is. Okay, but you need to know what an ITIL incident is. And you need to know what an ITIL problem is, because a problem, and you might even think, oh, well, an incident is the same as a problem. Well, no, it's not. So we'll talk about those in a minute. Well, we can mention it now. Incident, that's going to be often a one-off. Something's broken and we fix it. That's an incident. A problem is going to be systematic. That's where the same type of incident seems to keep recurring. Then that we record as a problem. And problems reach a higher level because they require you to do something to change the system. So that goes to the next level, which we referred to as change management. So a minute ago, I said that ITIL talks about incident management. It talks about change management. So change management comes out of problems. You might have to redesign your system a bit, or at least redesign a little bit of your system if you have a problem, an incident that keeps reoccurring. Service requests, again, that's an ITIL term, and it refers to, well, what if I wanted to get new customers onto my system? Or I'd have to give them passwords and accounts and that kind of stuff. Oh, that would be a service request. Or what if somebody needs to have a new bit of software installed or a bit of software updated? That would be a service request. It's not really a problem or an incident. It's something that we need to improve our service, but it's not because something went wrong. It's just that something new is here. And so sorry about, I noticed there's a lot of sort of stuff there. And as I said, I'm not going to go through it all here. Hopefully by the end of this, if I summarized it now, it would be, if you're going to work in a service desk, be really good if you had some technical skills, so that somebody comes to you with an incident or a problem, and a lot of those incidents and problems you're going to solve on the phone or in face to face kind of immediately, because you got enough sort of skill to do that. But recognize that person in the service desk can't do everything. Even the most advanced are going to have to call upon their engineering support, which we refer to as a level 2 support. So, but it's good if you have some technical skills. A person working in the service desk should understand the business they're in. So that's also mentioned in this set of notes, which I'm not going through them all. I'm sort of summarizing for you now. They should understand the business they're in. So if you're working in the college, if you might work in IT in the college and you got a degree in IT or whatever, and so you're working with servers and maybe a bit of software. Well, you know what? You should take some time to understand the business that you're in. So even the IT person, and particularly the person on the help desk or service desk, they should understand how the college works. They should know what a student is. They should know what a classroom is and how they work in the systems. They should know how GPA is calculated, right? They should know what are the different courses that are offered at the college? What are the different degrees? What are the different pathways to those? Anybody on the service desk should understand that, should understand their business, because how are they going to give a good service to that people in that business if they didn't understand it themselves? So they should have some business understanding. They should have some technical understanding. Another thing there is they should have some personal sort of would you call it development or advancement skills, self-management skills. They should be a person to work in any job, really. You're going to be more successful if you have some way of managing yourself. sort of keeping track of what work needs to be done, doing that work on time, meeting the expectations that are set by you in your work. So that's important in the service desk. And then you have some other skills that sort of relate to that, which would be your communication skills and your soft skills related to that. Communication skills, those are the skills that every person in every job needs, right? I mean, you need to be able to talk to that customer in a way that is efficient and non-threatening, and works for them and works for you. So yeah, the first lesson talks about some of the training that's now available for people doing the service desk, how the service desk is related to other things in the in the business. This topic here about trends is the fact that service desks now are being sort of outsourced or offboarded or put onto the cloud. So that's well, the whole world is being put onto the cloud, right? Here we are on the cloud. And so you should expect that that would be your experience working in a service desk. Right now, the way things are looking, 2020, 2021, you should expect that in any job, right? That get used to using cloud technology. And luckily, it's advanced to the point where that actually is an option. But what this means by geography there with the cloud is theoretically, I mean, you could have a business working here in Doha, and the people that support that business in terms of a help desk, they or service desk, they could be located in somewhere else. I mean, they don't have to be in a place where they can, not even in the same city, maybe not even in the same country. And so there's opportunities there for businesses to save some money. I mean, there's certain wage differences in different countries. So you can go to a country where they have good education, but low wages, and so you can get people who speak English and are pretty well educated, but they're going to work for less than $10 an hour. Um, and you can find people like that in many countries, because that's just their economy. Their economy is different, and so you will set up a service desk in that country, and those people get the work, and could be that the people that they're servicing don't even know that they're in that other country. Now, I have some personal examples of that, right? I mean, I'm talking to people at the bank, right? I'm calling the bank and I'm talking to them, and you know, uh, I asked the person, well, where are you? And they said, well, I'm in Dubai. We can talk about Dubai now, right? Because we're friends with Dubai again, thank God. So I call the phone number here in Doha and I start talking to somebody in Dubai. Next week I call the same phone number and I'm talking to somebody in Egypt. And I was booking some airplane tickets, and I used the number that they had, which was an American number, and I'm talking to somebody in Cebu, in in the Philippines. So I mean, that's the geographical thing, is that people can be all anywhere because of the cloud. The cloud is awesome. The technology is changing very quickly. You would be aware of technology that is absolutely new that we hadn't seen before. Now, when it comes to the service desk, this is important because nowadays the service desk technology, the stuff that's on the cloud, particularly, they're able to contact with their customers using these other channels, and you can see these channels here. So the customer doesn't have to call you up. You can set them up so that they can use their social media. Imagine that. And that's true. I mean, SolarWinds. I don't know. Does that name ring a bell for you? SolarWinds. I don't know if it does, but SolarWinds is a big provider of service desk technology globally, and they do have a free sort of service product that they offer at a low level, but you can obviously you upgrade to their paid option. So it's just like all the other apps that you use on the internet, and it is just like all the other apps. That is that you install an app on your phone and you just work through the cloud. So that's what's now the reason why I mentioned I wondered if you'd heard about SolarWind is they had a hack which put them down, and they had it's only just last week. So and if any of you are interested in that, go Google what happened to SolarWinds. But SolarWinds, they're able to communicate with their customers using Facebook, Messenger, all right, Twitter. They tweet to their customers, and their customers tweet back. Twitter is going to keep you honest, right? Because if you're giving bad customer service, your customer is going to start tweeting that stuff, and everybody in the world is going to see that you're giving bad customer service. So I mean, we're in that kind of world now where we can't really hide our mistakes. So we, but the cloud sort of technology around service desks is helping with that. The outsourcing idea is kind of related to that. And so, yeah, there are three levels of support in a service desk. So this course is focused on what we call level one support, which is the help desk or the service desk. I mean, all of this together is a service desk, but the help desk on frontline communicators, they deal with the customers, and then behind them are the level two. Level two, you'd consider them to be like systems engineers or something like that, but they are employees of the same company as the help desk people. And then you have our level three, which are your vendor support. Vendor are who did you buy the technology from? So supposing you have customer that's working with you and they're having trouble with their Word application. Word is a Microsoft product. So if you at the service desk were able to help them with that, that's good. But if you couldn't, you would send that down to the level two, and perhaps they could help you with it. But it could be that it's actually a problem with the software itself, in which case we would send that problem to Microsoft. And everybody who actually owns the Microsoft products actually has is entitled to contact them for that service, and Microsoft will service them and provide some kind of if it's really, really bad, Microsoft might produce a patch. It could be that you're just telling them that there's something wrong with their software that they have to fix, or it could just be we got 10 minutes left, or it could just be that there's some misunderstanding in the way that it's been installed, or how it's been applied. In which case, they give you some instructions on how to do that better. So yeah, there's our three levels of support, and this course mostly focuses on the service desk, help desk. There's a lot of talk about customers, right? So we talk about customers here, and we use customers with a very specific definition of that. So that comes back to the ITIL, right? ITIL, we have special meaning for words, and special meaning for word customers. It's not so much. It's a business meaning of the word customer. So we don't just say that our customer is the person who buys something from us. That's our sort of vulgar or profane understanding of what a customer is. But in the IT department, at the service desk, or working in a business, a lot of times we work for people that aren't paying us indirectly, because we have a service agreement with the company, and we all sort of just do this for each other. And so customers can be internal, they can be part of our own organization. So if you're working in the service desk here at the college, your customers are all the students and staff that work in the college. And they don't come to you and give you 20 reals every time you answer the phone for them, right? But they're still your customers. If you have to write a report as part of your work in the service desk, you could say that the person that you give the report to is your customer, and that might be your manager. So customers can be your colleagues, they can be your managers, they can be what you uh, previously considered in the sort of the normal way of the street language of what a customer is. Now that definition or that idea of a customer that I'm presenting to you comes from the idea of somebody to whom you give a service or a product. and it could be for money or it could just be for something else. So that's why it can include your colleagues, it can include your managers, and it can include those things that you traditionally thought of as a customer. But it's basically somebody who you're doing something for. That's a customer. And so the reason why I mentioned that in relation to the help desk, the service desk here, is because when we say this is how we interact with customers, this is the most efficient or effective way to interact with customers. And we're dealing with sort of human sort of interaction. So that's why we talk about psychology and philosophy, if you like, related to this. But uh, in dealing with them, uh, the same rules or ideas or wisdom or whatever you want to say that apply to dealing with an external customer also apply to dealing with your boss or your colleagues or somebody else. So if you think of a customer as just it's basically anybody who you're interacting with in your daily work, I think that would be helpful for you in this course. um, and there's some other things there, things that relating to the performance of the service desk, having a positive attitude, being responsive, going the extra mile. All of those things I spoke about at length in the um, lecture that I've uploaded to the. There's a link on it that you can download. So I'll leave you with that. We are kind of running out of time, so I'm not going to assign you any new work at the moment. So this is kind of just an easy sort of introduction. Can I ask if there are any questions from you? Is there anything that you'd like to know about the course or anything that I should address? Because I just talked a lot so far. Anything?